Hello, welcome to Kitsap County Commissioner's Corner. I'm Ed Wolfe, Kitsap County Commissioner. Today you're in for a real treat at home. You're going to see first responder training at the Silverdale Community Center. Have the fire chief with us today and also the sheriff. So stay with us, come back. You're going to be excited when you see what's going to happen right here at the Silverdale Community Center campus. Let me introduce Fire Chief Winninger and Sheriff Simpson. Welcome to our Kitsap Corner today. This community center was built in 1958. It's been a public building since the 70s and soon to be demolished. It's going to be demolished, and we're looking at a public-private partnership that I think is going to be very exciting for all of Kitsap County. It's closed now for safety, and I'm speculating that with good authority that probably within the next 2 weeks the Silverdale Community Center will be no longer here, and we'll have a public-private development partnership in our community for this 12-acre site. Sheriff and Chief, overview of your departments, maybe starting with you, Sheriff, of what your role was today, your agency's role today with the emergency training.
Well, our role today was to provide a demonstration of the public, and our partners as to what we do in regards to our SWAT training and responses to hostage negotiation situations, how we bring our negotiators in, how we bring our SWAT teams in, how we need to utilize time and surprise and the tools that we have in the training to make our community safer and respond to these situations that are sometimes highly volatile. Our role in the community is that we're the major law enforcement agency for the entire county. We work with our state partners and our city law enforcement to provide as much law enforcement as we can to keep our communities and our roadways safe.
Thank you, Sheriff. And Chief, your role, your agency's role in what we saw today in the first responder emergency programs.
Thank you, Commissioner Wolfe. Scott Winninger, Fire Chief, Central Kitsap Fire and Rescue. Our role within the community is to protect the proud men and women of Central Kitsap Fire and Rescue, protect about 70,000 people in 115 square miles. We do that through 10 fire stations. Our role today was to support the Sheriff's Office. We treat advanced life support and basic life support, so our ambulances are taking care of people. And in today's scenario, we were here to treat an injured officer or an injured suspect and get them safely to the hospital. So we appreciate that, and we really appreciate the support of Commissioner Wolfe in facilitating the training that our people have been able to do in the last couple months in this building before it's torn down. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. Can both of you tell us, Sheriff, maybe you can begin, why was the event today important to your agency, to the Sheriff's Department, number one, and two, why is collaboration important with all of the first responders?
Well, I think the biggest thing that was important to me was to give us an opportunity to show the community what our teams do and how we collaboratively work with the fire departments and other agencies to bring our communities into to being as safe as they can. Our SWAT team is made up of not just the Sheriff's Office employees, it's also made up of other law enforcement agencies or personnel from other agencies, as well as we have 3 medics, tactical medics on our SWAT team that help us to be right there on scene and entering the scene with the SWAT team members to be able to help them immediately and to help the victims if there are any victims that we need to deal with. Today's importance, what was important for me today was to see the collaboration of the demonstration with the public and with the fire departments, so the public sees that we work together on these things and we're not separated. It takes a team effort to get the job done.
An unbelievable team effort today. And you, Chief?
Well, I'd just like to say that the 6 county fire chiefs have developed a new incident management manual, and that manual, signed by all fire chiefs, is really a direction on how we coordinate our efforts as fire departments and responders. And also, we recently signed a document with all the law enforcement agencies in the county on how we would address multi-agency and very complex incidents like this. So this scenario is really a chance for us to demonstrate and to work together and further collaborate that relationship. We have a great relationship with the sheriff and with the people that serve him day in and day out, and our troops work together on the street every day to deliver service.
Thank you, Chief. And also, gentlemen, if you could, I believe recently within the past couple of weeks you've had other at-risk training exercises or risk training exercises around the county collaboratively?
Yes, we had a training scenario that we put together at Retzel Veterans Home in a large building that's going to be demolished at some time in the future, where we partnered with our SWAT team, our first responders, and our law enforcement first responders and firefighters that would be responding to a scene such as an active shooter. This gives us an opportunity to work with the fire departments and other first responders to coordinate our efforts as we address these active shooter scenarios, to whereas if a law enforcement agency needs to bring fire into the scenario to help with victims, they can do that in what we call a warm zone. It's a new process that we've done. It's something new that's going nationally, and we're on the leading edge to making those types of efforts work for us in Kitsap County.
Chief, anything to add?
Well, I would just say that the collaboration between police and fire is really important just to provide the safety to the citizens and also to our responders. We appreciate the opportunity to exercise our skills.
So stay with us. We're going to be back in just a minute, and you're going to see actual simulated emergency situations today. Quite exciting. You'll explain the excitement a little later, but stay with us, and thank you both for right now. We'll be right back. The fire chief had to depart, but we have a new guest with us today that you're going to introduce.
Thank you. This is Russ Clithrow. He's a lieutenant with the Patrol Division and also a SWAT commander, and he'll be here to help us answer some of the questions about the exercises that we were demonstrating today.
Lieutenant, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. We're about to begin the emergency simulated training film, and you're going to see that closely. And I just want to point out to the public at home, watch very closely how all of the emergency responders work together, and they work as a team. And that's what we wanted the county to see. We feel safe in this county, and there's a reason for it, and you're about to see that very soon. So let's start with the first training. Lieutenant, I'm going to leave that with you. Explosive entry. Can you tell us a little bit about what the viewers at home are about to see with that?
It's what we're going to see is a hostage rescue scenario, and we're going to use a tactical breaching. There's two types of breaching. There's mechanical, where we use tools, a ram, crowbar, sledgehammer, and then there's tactical breaching, where we use some sort of charge to make entry. So what we're going to see is we're going to use a charge on the door. It would be used on a fortified door, one that's barricaded, we can't open. And we're also going to see a charge that's up on the wall, and we're going to create a portal. And what that's for is once it blows that hole in the wall, we'll have one of the SWAT members will be up and have his rifle, and he'll be able to cover the room before the team enters. Okay. So it's just another vantage point for us to see. And then we also have a distraction. Like I said before, what we use, especially in a hostage rescue situation, is we use surprise, speed, distraction, and action. So the surprise will be another noise flash diversion device that went off on the other side of the room to get everybody to turn their head. As you saw when it went off, the bad guy you're going to see him turn his head to look that direction, and then a half second later is going to be another small charge going off for the portal, and a half second after that will be another one for the door.
Go ahead. I'm gonna kill him! I want the boss in here now! I am done talking! I'm gonna kill him! I'm ready to go right now! You hear what I'm saying to you? Get your hand off me! 1, you need a medic. 3 of 1. Command TL status.
TL status.
2 down, we need 2 medics.
And for the viewers at home, I'll just tell you that I'll sleep very well tonight because I was the hostage in this situation. Don't ask me why I was a hostage, but I was a hostage. Couldn't have been more impressed, Sheriff, with the team that was out there working today with this hostage situation. Any comments from you on the hostage situation?
Well, I think that demonstrates today that the training that needs to continue day in and day out for all of our line officers and all of our SWAT team members to be prepared for these types of situations. We train and train and train in hopes that we don't have to deploy, but when we do have to deploy, we want to make sure that we're doing it the best way we can with the best tools and the best training with the best people. And I think today's demonstration showed exactly that we have the confidence in the people that are doing the job and they're doing it the right way. I'm very proud of what they do, and it also makes me feel very safe within our community knowing these resources are here when we need them.
So we're about ready to start, viewers at home, with the K-9 drill and the expertise of the K-9 unit in the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, tell us what we're about to see and how proud I think, again, you are.
Well, K-9s have been a part of the Sheriff's Office since I can remember. For the last 35 years or so, the community actually helped us purchase the first dogs that we had in our program. I was K-9 officer years ago, so I've got a little insight, but not all the answers of how the dogs are trained and work today. The demonstration you're going to see is to show the obedience of the dog, again, the training the dog receives, and the control that the dog or the handler has of the dog without any type of a lead. One part of the demonstration you're going to see is a demonstration where the officer sends the dog to apprehend a subject who is not cooperating or is about to attack the officer, and also show the control that he's able to call the dog off and return him to him before he actually makes the arrest. As you'll see in the video, the dog is pretty intent on watching the handler, how he walks, watching the handler's toy. It's toy driven. He likes to play. You'll see his tail wagging, and this is not an aggressive animal. This is actually a dog that's going out to just do a job, helping us find people, helping us with doing some of the trailing and tracking that we can't do ourselves. A great tool to have, and we're very pleased to have our K-9 units within the Sheriff's Office. Right now we have 2 patrol dogs, and we hope that we can continue to keep at least 2 patrol dogs in our program. As we need to replace them, we go out and train additional animals in preparation for replacement when the time comes.
And now we're about to see a reactionary drill, and Lieutenant, I'm going to ask you to explain to the viewers at home what we may be looking at.
So this reactionary drill, what it does is it shows some of the dynamics involved in an officer-involved shooting, and it's going to show that action beats reaction all the time, and as officers, we have to react. Joe Vlock, the Director of Operations, he's going to play our officer. He knows that the guy that he's facing is a bad guy, but as officers, deputies and officers on the street, we contact hundreds of people every day, and we don't know who they are. And you're also going to see that Joe Vlock, the officer, has his gun out already in his hand, and something to remember is when the officers, our guns are always in our holster. So our reactions are going to be a little bit slower than what you're going to see. But this is just going to show he sees the threat, perceives the threat, and then takes action. And you're going to see that the action of the bad guy will beat the reaction of the officer every time. Even though on this scenario, on some of them, he's going to have the gun already up pointing at the bad guy, but he's still going to be just a second behind.
Well, this demonstration is going to show the reactionary time that an officer has to deal with when confronted by these types of circumstances. It's not to demonstrate that we need to always have our guns out and be aggressive, but it also shows and points out to the officers the vulnerability of being out in the open and contacting people not knowing what the circumstances are. We certainly want them to train for these types of scenarios, but we also want them to be thinking about what else could I be doing when I advance or when I need to approach or handle a circumstance. Can I use other cover? Can I use other means of communicating and thinking through the process rather than just walking right up to somebody in the open and being vulnerable to these types of attacks?
Today, you've seen unbelievable groups of first responders that protect us regularly. I know I'm going to sleep better tonight knowing what I've seen today and participated in today. I'd like to thank the sheriff. I'd like to thank the fire chief and everyone that's participated, all of their teams, because they're doing a good job. And there's a reason that many people are moving to Kitsap County. And one of the reasons is because we feel safe here, public safety. And you've seen a lot of that collaboration today, and that collaboration takes practice, 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 and I'm sure that the Sheriff's Office and all of the other first responders will continue that practice because it's working in Kitsap County. Thank you again. See you next time.